Remember the camp counsellors from Camp Cretaceous Season 1? Well, what if I told you they could return in Camp Cretaceous Season 4? And that's what today's video is going to be about, so stay tuned. It's going to be a big one. As always, if you do enjoy the video, hit that like button. It does really help out. And hit that subscribe button. Do it now. Go on. You can always unsubscribe later if you don't like the content. Right, let's get straight into this video. So hello everybody and welcome to today's video with me, Shadows. I hope you're having a great day. So we're going to be talking about the camp counsellors Dave and Roxie from Season 1 and how they could return in Season 4 because they have left it quite open. So we're going to chat about that. But before we do, I'm going to give a shout out to my new YouTube member, Papa Fyro, because they've just joined. So welcome Papa Fyro. So yeah, Dave and Roxie from Season 1 and how they can be in Season 4. So let's think back to Season 1 where you see a lot of Dave and Roxie because they're obviously looking after the campers and their role as camp counsellors are to help and guide the campers through Jurassic World. And they do a fairly good job of it up until a point. Obviously Jurassic World falls, the Indominus escapes, and then they get separated from the campers. So Dave and Roxie then throughout Season 1 are always one step behind the campers and are tailing them and are trying to get hold of them to take them to the ferry. They eventually see the campers on a train heading to the ferry themselves. So Dave and Roxie feel quite relieved and head to the ferry themselves. They get to the ferry, they realise the campers are not there, but by then they're already being ushered onto the ferry and they leave Isla Nublar knowing that they left the campers behind. So obviously you can see that they're quite distraught. They've obviously left the campers behind and they know that the campers are still on Isla Nublar, and that's really the last you see of Dave and Roxie in person. You do hear from Dave and Roxie again in Season 2, but it's more in the way of a mixtape with Kenji playing. So that's the last you see of them. So this then leaves the door wide open to the fact that they could return, because Dave and Roxie know that the campers are indeed left on Isla Nublar and they've done nothing about it up to this point. So they could quite easily get back to the mainland and search around to see if they do make it off the island in the coming weeks. Obviously they never do, so Dave and Roxie will obviously follow through and be well aware of the fact that the campers are still on the island, and that would then lead to the point where they launch their own rescue mission. Now this rescue mission could tie in with Season 4 because we know there's a novel coming out titled Rescue Mission, and that ties in with Season 4. So that could relate to the camp counsellors launching their own rescue mission to get to the campers. Now I have already done a theory on what the actual rescue mission is and the book entails, so check that out here if you're curious, but we're going to be talking about the camp counsellors and how they return today. So we now know that the camp counsellors are on the mainland and they know the kids are still on Isla Nublar. But this is where we have a dilemma because the kids are leaving Isla Nublar at the end of Season 3 and we have a few options. Either they return to Nublar or they head to a different island entirely. They can't head to the mainland because there is a dinosaur in the boat, and that dinosaur cannot land on the mainland prior to Fallen Kingdom because that's not canonically correct. So it means they either have to return to Nublar or head to Sona. With the information we have, the camp counsellors Dave and Roxie would obviously still be thinking that they're on Isla Nublar. So if the campers leave and head to Isla Sona, Dave and Roxie would need some type of clue to know where they have gone. So that's why I think in Season 4 the campers are indeed going to head to Isla Sona and they will hit out some type of distress beacon, some type of call, because they will need to get picked up. Now, does that mean we could see Dave and Roxie return? Possibly, especially with this information we have on the book called Rescue Mission. Now, that could either mean that people are coming to rescue the campers, or the campers are rescuing someone else. Now, if the campers do stay on Isla Nublar, which I highly doubt, it would be very easy to bring the camp counsellors back because the camp counsellors knew the kids were still on the island on Isla Nublar, so they could quite easily return to go and rescue them. That would make sense if they stayed on Isla Nublar. But if they head to Isla Sona, the camp counsellors will need some type of indication that they've left the island and they're on Isla Sona. So that's where some type of distress beacon could come in handy on Isla Sona, or some type of communication to the mainland, and that we could see Dave and Roxie pick that up and launch a mission with other people to go and save them. Now, what would that rescue mission look like from the camp counsellors if they did launch a mission to go and save the campers, either on Isla Nublar or on Isla Sona or some other island which is outlined in Nublar and Sona, because it is indeed possible. It would obviously involve them returning by boat or helicopter, and they would probably bring a team with them, knowing full well that Isla Nublar would have dinosaurs on it, and possibly Sona too. So you'd probably see the introduction of newer characters with Dave and Roxie, and it would make complete sense. They'd obviously be side characters, and that would be a good way to introduce more side characters to the franchise. They could later be killed off in some fashion, which would make sense again because we do see a lot of deaths, even though it is a kids show, but it would make sense for them to bring in more characters with Dave and Roxie. Let's say they do launch this rescue mission via chopper or via boat, you could expect to see them kitted out in new gear, have lots of supplies, and be ready to find the kids, and obviously to fend off some potential threats. So you could see them dressed in different gear, ready for action. Obviously in my thumbnail I've shown them kind of in their camper gear, just a little bit more torn up, a little bit more wrecked, because I could imagine they'd land on either island. Obviously there'd be problems because it wouldn't be very entertaining if they landed, picked the kids up and left the island. That wouldn't make no sense. So they'd have to leave, they'd be in some type of trouble, probably get lost, and obviously fighting lots of dinosaurs. So you'd probably see them a little bit torn, a little bit worse for wear, muddy, and I think that's how we would see them on the island, prepared to fight off these dinosaurs with the campers. I personally loved Dave and Roxie. I thought they were great characters. The dynamic was really good because obviously you had Dave, who was quite goofy, quite fun-loving, and was very laid back and chilled. Roxie was a lot more stern. Although she was the leader, she was a lot more stern, a lot more strict, but them two together really worked really well. They bounced off each other and they made a great dynamic to bring to Camp Cretaceous. So I for one would love to see them return. Will we actually see them return? Well, this is just a theory. It's got some good evidence to back it up, but it's just a theory. What about you guys? Do you want to see the camp counselors Dave and Roxie return? Please let me know in the comments below, because I do read every single comment and I reply to every single comment. And don't end up like Dave and Roxie with all your claws ripped and torn and all nasty and horrible. I've got a merch shop open and you can pick up some nice new t-shirts. Don't be like Dave and Roxie with them all ripped and torn. Get that merch now. I'd also like to give a shout out to the Big Rhino, who was a featured person in my comments last week, and if you want to be shouted out in my next video, see the comments of this video and see how to do so. It's very, very easy. Yeah, so shout out to the Big Rhino. And I'd like to thank my Patreons and YouTube members as always, and my research executive B. So thank you very much guys for supporting me. I'm Shadows, hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers and bye bye. Make sure to follow my Twitter and check out these videos on screen now if you want to see more Camp Cretaceous content. I've also got some in real life videos with me dressed as dinosaur doing silly skits, so check them out, they're all on screen for you now.